In this video, you will learn how to get out of debt once and for all. Billionaire Robert Kiyosaki will give you a lesson on how to never suffer from debt again, why people get stuck in debt, and how to eliminate it from your life forever. Because of this, we advise you to stay in this video until the end, because at the end, we have a gift for you. Schools don't teach us how to manage money, our personal finances, or our assets, and especially how not to get into debt. On the contrary, they tell you that you should finish studying, look for a job, buy a car, and a house to be successful. And unknowingly, unconsciously, they are pushing you into a trap that, if you don't know how to control it, will seriously affect your financial and personal life, feeling that you are in a job you don't like, that you don't advance economically, despite working hard, and live trapped in a routine that leaves you with no money or time, and spending just to get social validation. Today we will talk about the rat race. Are you ready? Let's begin. What is the rat race? According to an ancient Greek legend, Sisyphus was a very intelligent and cunning king, and thanks to this, he managed to deceive the gods and escape death on 2 occasions. That's why the gods, tired of him, decided to give him an exemplary punishment. They condemned Sisyphus to push a giant round rock every day of his life, from the base of a mountain to its top. But upon reaching the top, the rock rolled down again, and Sisyphus had to start all over again. And so it would happen forever, being impossible for him to get rid of this condemnation. This story portrays the tragedy of living in an absurd and endless situation, in a life that leads to nothing, with no personal or financial purpose, just like the current situation of most people who live working for the dreams of others instead of to work for yours. This is the rat race, where people are in a never-ending cycle of constant struggle to get ahead, leading a routine life of working, earning, spending, and repeating it all over again. This starts from the time they leave university or school, get a job, start earning a salary, improve their lifestyle, and spend more. Then, they acquire a vehicle on credit, generating expenses to the same extent that their income increases. This endless cycle never allows them to save or have any surplus money, turning them into slaves to their own trap. Many believe that the solution to all of this is to work even harder and earn more money. But we can't blame them for thinking that way, because that's what we all learn in our homes and schools about the definition of success and personal fulfillment. It's the path we know, and it's etched in our minds. We enter a cycle that never ends, and it is a mistake to believe that the problem is the amount of money they earn, but it is not, because many times you can see people earning an above-average salary who are in the same situation, even worse. All this for accommodating their lives to social expectations or for buying unnecessary things that they could easily do without. Robert Kiyosaki says that the rat race is an economically destructive circle that does not allow people to achieve their financial freedom. Typically, people with a poverty mindset are the ones who fall into it. In their daily lives, they indefinitely repeat the cycle of working, earning, and spending. We must educate ourselves financially so that our mindset changes from the rat race cycle of working, earning, spending, and being in debt to a new cycle of working, earning, saving, and investing. This, in the long run, will help us to free ourselves from this trap and achieve our financial freedom. How does the rat race affect us? I ask, what is your feeling or mood on a Monday morning compared to a Friday afternoon before leaving work? Is there any difference in your mood, or do you always wait for the weekend? This arrives, passes quickly, and again, Monday begins to start the week again. Just like people who acquire a loan, finish paying it, and shortly thereafter enter another loan to pay more debt, constantly incurring in financial expenses for interest. Could it be that this, as in the story of Sisyphus, are not our rocks on the mountain that are indefinitely repeated, having condemned us to this without realizing it? We find ourselves in an endless cycle that we cannot get out of, and that does not allow us to develop in other aspects of our lives because we are absorbed by the work routine to meet the expenses of our standard of living and expectations of success imposed by social pressure, removing the opportunity to explore other alternatives in which we could be developing to achieve better financial benefits and personal satisfaction. Being in the day-to-day work routine and having our minds very busy takes away the desire to be exploring other sources of income, some business opportunities or some venture, and that, in the long run, would be more beneficial for us. Just for a minute, imagine that right now they call you because you just won a millionaire lottery. how would you react? Would you keep doing the same, or would you quit your job and your boss immediately? How would your routine or your daily life change? Would everything stay the same? Let me tell you, if you thought about it and felt the need to make changes in your personal and financial life because you are not satisfied with it, and I described the situation as you would, you are probably already in the rat race without even having given account. But don't worry. Next, we'll see how we can get out of it. Signs that you are in the rat race. We explored earlier that you are probably in the rat race, but how can you know if you really are? Well, there are many signs that can give us clues about this and confirm that you have definitely fallen into it. Next, I will mention several situations and identify how many of them describe your current situation. You don't like Mondays, but you like Fridays. Hate your boss or coworkers. Suffers at the end of the month, paying your bills or cards. Feel that you dedicate little time to your family. Stays up late working and comes home very tired. Complains about what they pay you or the lack of recognition. Has no savings or makes a profit. Always short of money or seems to have very little. Does not feel like an accomplished person and thinks that he is not moving forward. Suffers from stress or bad mood. Makes impulsive, unnecessary purchases or of overvalued brands. Most of your income goes towards paying off debts, has no goals or long-term goals. If you identify with most of them, it is very likely that you are in the rat race, and you will need to make changes to yourself in order to get out of it. It won't be easy, however. The benefits to your personal and financial life will be many. You will have the freedom and availability of your time. You won't have to put up with a boss or work stress. You will be able to find a balance between your personal work and, of course, financial life. Are you interested? So let's do it. Before continuing, if this knowledge is being useful, I invite you to like and subscribe to receive more content. Now let's continue. How can we get out of the rat race? It is not a simple task. However, if it is possible to end the endless cycle of frustration for not achieving our personal and financial goals, maintaining a balance in our personal life. Define your success, your goals, and set priorities. It is important to know that all people are different. We come from different circumstances, so you must define your own idea of success. Define what success is for you. Maybe having a house, a car, having a business, dedicating yourself to doing social work, or dedicating yourself to a hobby. This aspect is very personal, but one of the most important, because according to your definition of success, the actions to be taken to reorder your financial life and establish your goals can change. When you have a clear idea of what success is for you, set goals and priorities. Of course, you must also strengthen your ability to say no to anything that takes you away from your goals. 2. Educate yourself financially. Whenever the word financial education is mentioned, many people believe that it is expensive or complicated. Because yes, there are definitely courses that could be expensive. But on the internet, now you can find valuable information to educate yourself financially. For example, this channel, any blog or books in general. There is a lot of information, but whether you decide to educate yourself financially or not will depend on your willpower or the strength with which you want to change your situation. Remember what Benjamin Franklin said, empty your pocket into your mind and your mind will fill your pocket. You must learn to organize your finances, make a budget, learn about health methods, how to control your spending, how and where to invest your money, and know how to differentiate between an asset and a liability to focus on acquiring assets that generate value for you. This aspect is one of the most important if you want to start escaping the rat race once and for all, because these assets are the ones that, in the future, will generate the resources you need so you don't depend on a salary and be tied to it. 3. Pay off your debts. Being permanently enslaved to paying interest to banks is a difficult trap and habit to control and eliminate, and can literally ruin your financial life if you don't know how to manage it properly. So I recommend that before you think about any savings or investments, pay off your debts first. I assure you that if you have debts, there is no better investment for your money than paying off each of them first. To pay off your debts, you can use the snowball method. That is, first pay off the debt with the smallest amount, then you pay off the others according to the amount order, or use the avalanche strategy, which is to pay by ordering them from lowest to highest interest and thus reduce your financial expenses. 4. Make a budget and save. With the previous steps, we define our goals and objectives, then we pay our debts. Now we must prepare our budget, which will serve as a guide when spending our money, and set aside an amount for our savings. The advantage of making your expenses with a budget is that you will have the security that all the expenses you make are aimed at achieving your financial goals, so it will not affect you with unnecessary expenses. In this budget, your savings must be considered. You can start saving for your emergency fund in an equivalent of 3 to 6 months of your income as a minimum. This fund will only be used when necessary for any unforeseen event that arises and does not affect your budget. After you have your emergency fund, start saving for investment purposes. It is recommended that your savings be between 10% and 20% of your income. 5. Employ or work independently. Certainly many with their current job only have time to think about other alternatives to generate income. However, no one said it would be easy or that it wouldn't require effort. If you are working hard to fulfill the dream of the owner of the company you work for, don't you think it's worth working hard to achieve your own dreams and making an extra effort to spend a few hours at night or on weekends looking for new income alternatives? For example, consulting, online sales, video editing, or maybe developing a skill that you can sell. The idea is for you to take some time for yourself. This time is what will make the difference between your current self, who is trapped by the rat race, or your future self, where you can break free and enjoy the fruits of your own effort. Absolutely everyone who has found their financial and time freedom has gone through this stage. They have undertaken and worked hard, and they haven't stopped until they have achieved it. I'm sorry to tell you that there is no shortcut to this. There are no easy paths or tricks, let alone magic formulas. People's success is work and discipline. We just have to make sure we find what we like to do and that it is profitable. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book, The Cash Flow Quadrant, comments that there are 4 ways to earn money: being an employee, self-employed, owner, or investor. Kiyosaki recommends that we seek to reach the right side of the quadrant because in the quadrants on the left side, you are trading your time for money. And as your time is limited, so will your income. In these quadrants, if you don't work, you won't get paid because it requires your presence to generate money. However, the owner or investor leverages or boosts the time and money of others to generate their profits. They could be relaxing on the beach and still continue to earn. For example, by investing in the stock market, you could earn passive income through dividends or stock returns. You just need to invest your capital so that later you generate money even when you are sleeping, because these investments do not depend on your time or your presence. 6. Seek balance in your life. You must take care of emotional, personal, financial balance in all aspects of your life. For example, health, family, friends, work, and money. Identify in which aspect you can improve to find personal and economic satisfaction, and that these factors help you achieve your success. All the people who built their fortunes did not do it alone. They needed support in the social, family, and economic aspects, so we should always take care of the balance in our lives without affecting these fields by prioritizing others. I know a lot of people who have a lot of money. However, they built it by sacrificing time with their families or even their health. Worth it? If you think so, go ahead. But wouldn't it be better to have a balance in all aspects of your life and be able to fully appreciate them with those around you? The rat race is a problem that affects your staff and finances, and it won't be easy to get out of it. However, if you put these recommendations into practice, reorganize your finances, and guide them to improve control of your expenses, in addition to cultivating the habit of saving and dedicating your free time to looking for new sources of income, being persistent and disciplined in this, the time will come when your passive income will cover all your expenses. You will never depend on a job again until, finally, you will feel that you have managed to free yourself from it. Today, I invite you to start this process of change because it's time to improve your situation. Remember, no one won a marathon without making any effort and without first taking the first step. Comment on your ideas on the topic. Thanks for your time invested. See you next time.